Hello everyone, my name is Rabiya and welcome back to episode 3 of Python for Absolute Beginner series. And today we are learning something extremely useful, that is Python dictionaries. And here is the cool part. Just like a real dictionary, when you look up a word, we call it the key, you get its definition, the value. Inside a Python dictionary, we store dictionary entries, also known as key value pairs. So let's look at an example where we have created an entry to store Andy's email address. Each dictionary entry has two parts: the value, the label we will use, and the value, the information we want to access. And in this example, the key is Andy's name and the value is his email address. And we connect them using a colon. And here is the Python dictionary. Now moving on to create a multi-entry Python dictionary. For that, again, we will use curly brackets, and inside those brackets, we place our key value pairs separated by commas. So our three entries are Andy, Ashley, and Anne and their email addresses. And once you run your cell, you will get the multi-entry dictionary. Now let's say that you want to access the value from the dictionary. In order to do so, you have to define a variable where you have to store the dictionary. For example, in this case, we have defined a variable email and we have stored our dictionary in this variable. And let's say that you want to access Ashley's email address. You will just use the square brackets with the key. For example, emails and the square bracket and Ashley, which is the name or the key. And once you run it, you will get the email address or the value. You may wonder, couldn't we just store all emails in a list instead? Yes, but it won't be ideal. A list stores value by position. Let's look at this list, which is contacts, where we have stored all email addresses of the people. And let's say that you want to access Andy's email address. In this case, you will just use the index 0 and you will get his email address. But let's say that you have 50 friends and it's impossible to remember everyone's index because you will retrieve the email address of the person using the index position. In this case, dictionary is useful because it uses meaningful labels and you can just access the value or the email address of your friend using his name, which is much more intuitive. So the bottom line is use dictionary when your data has labels like user's name and passwords, product and prices, student and grades, and country and its population. So now let's look at some rules for keys and values. So values can be of any type. They can be strings, integers, floats, boolean, even list or other dictionary. For example, in this first case, we have defined two variables, sibling age, which is storing the data name and the age, which is integer value, and in the next variable has car, which is boolean type. It shows that whether the person has a car or not, and you can print it and see that values can be of any data type. Another important thing is that multiple values can repeat. That's okay with that, but keys must be unique. If you write two keys with the same name, let's say that Ashley has two email address, Python will keep only the second one. So in a nutshell, keys can be strings, integers, floats, and booleans, but strings are the most common and intuitive. And again, for the keys, they should be unique. Now let's look at some other important concept, which is adding and removing the items from the dictionary. Let's say that you want to add a new entry in the existing dictionary. Let's say you want to add the email address of Will. You just write email in the square bracket. You will write the name of the person and equal its email address, and you run the cell and you see that this entry is added to the existing dictionary. Let's say that you want to remove an entry from a dictionary. You will use this dot pop method And once you apply it on your existing dictionary, let's say emails.pop, and in the parenthesis you will write the name of the person, that entry will be removed from the existing dictionary. Now let's look at some useful dictionary methods. Uh, and the first one is dot keys method. By using this method, you can actually access all the keys, or let's say in our case, all the names of the um, entries from the dictionary using the for loop. For example, you have your for loop and you apply it on emails.keys, you get the names of the person from the dictionary. And the second important method is dot values. When you apply it on your dictionary, you will get the email addresses of all the persons stored in the dictionary, which is really useful. Now, let's say that you want to retrieve key and value together. You will use dot items method here. Again, you will use for loop for, let's say, for name and email in emails dot items. And when you print it, you will get the values as well as keys. Now let's look at an example where you want to find out that who owns a certain email. What you will do is that you will again use dot items method here, and you will use if um, as well. So let's say that you have the dictionary named contacts, and then you want to see that this particular email ID, let's say Jane, this Jane at gmail.com, who it belongs to, and you will use your if command, and then you print it. You will see that the name of the person appears with respect to this email. And that's it. You now understand what a dictionary is, how to create and access them, why they are better than lists in many cases, how to add, remove, and loop through entries. If this helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment what I should teach next. And thank you for watching. I will see you in the next lesson.